Welcome to Rocky Broad Solar, where we encourage you to make the current flow. On today's episode, we're going to go over my regrets on installing my EG4 FlexBoss GridBoss system. Let's get into it. So one of my biggest regrets on installing this system is that Canadian Solar actually makes two completely different modules that are 390 watts that are all black, and I used the wrong data sheet when I applied for my design and engineering, which I in turn used to pull all the measurements for my racking on the roof. Those of you that have watched my series probably could just feel the frustration, and it really kind of set the tone for the rest of the roof installation that day. So you know, the module that I used on the design was much taller and slimmer than the module that I actually purchased and installed on my home. So all the rails were cut too short and they were spaced much too far apart. Next, the mill racking. So solar racking comes in like a mill. Some have a clear coat and some are black. So I really just like Unirack NXT racking. Another very similar racking would be Snap and Rack Ultra Rail. But I just like the railed racking system. I think it's structurally a little more sound. It also gives you an area for good wire management. And that's just what I've used my entire career, and I just like the rail system over the rail-less. But in this case, you know, having all black panels, you know, I've really put a lot of time and effort into fixing up my home and trying to make it kind of aesthetically pleasing. Those solar panels are the first thing you see when you pull up to my house, and I just don't like the fact that I can see some silver aluminum kind of shining down beneath those nice black solar panels. So looking back, I really wish I had used black racking. I did try to order black racking, that is what I wanted, but my local solar distributor just didn't stock it because it is more expensive, and you know, most people will just go for the more affordable solution over all black racking. But for my specific case, just being on the front of my house, I'm going to be looking at it for the next 30 years. I really wish I would have got that black racking. Next, the end clamps. This isn't really that big of a deal, but Unirack also makes hidden end clamps. So does Snap and Rack Ultra Rail. And I just kind of like that look. It's just a little bit more cleaner where the end clamps tuck under the solar panels instead of sticking out a couple inches. Again, I tried to order those hidden end clamps from my local solar distributor, but they didn't have the hidden end clamps. They only had those universal end clamps. So I went ahead and used those and just got the little end caps to sort of cap it off and make it look clean. But again, I really just like the look of those hidden end clamps. All right, so this it just couldn't have been avoided. I tried to find the only way I could have stacked my inverter and batteries is if I would have got the outdoor wall mount Power Pro batteries. And I really just didn't want my equipment outside. I have really low ceilings in my basement, and I was not able to get enough clearance to give the inverter enough room to ventilate and be able to stack that inverter on top of the batteries. And that would have saved me a lot of money and a lot of time. So if you're out there designing your own system, I've got some measurements on my ultimate DIY guide you can find at www.rockybroadsolar.com. But essentially, if you have a big enough area to you know, stack the wall mount battery, the conduit box, and the inverter on top, and keep those batteries, you know, within their minimum required clearances, you can use the factory cables. And everything's just going to go much smoother, and you're going to save a whole lot of money and a whole lot of headaches. So again, I couldn't have really done that, but I really wish I could have, because it would have saved me from having to buy the wire gutter, a bunch of extra cable, and things of that nature. Next, I ran a neutral out to my Nonfuse disconnect. So, you know, I've been doing this for 14 years now, and I've always just run the neutral through the disconnect, regardless of if it had to actually be bonded in there or not. But in this case, you know, my disconnect and my meter is on the opposite side of my house from the only place I could mount all of my components. So to run basically my output from my inverter all the way out to my disconnect by the meter that is required by my utility, and then all the way back in to the GridBoss, you know, that run alone was probably $2,500. I didn't really break it down, but it was a massive amount of copper, a lot of conduit, big old disconnect, communications cables to run out there to my rapid shutdown switch. And I ran a neutral out there, and looking back, it was just totally unnecessary. I could have just run my neutral from the gutter, from the inverter, right over there to the GridBoss and called it a day, and only run my 2 hots and my equipment grounding conductor out to the disconnect. Would have saved me, you know, a few $100s in copper, and it would have made that wire pull a whole lot easier. It was a really tough wire pull, and just looking back, it was just completely unnecessary. Next, kind of regret only buying 2 wall mount batteries. I mean, I got room for 3. I'm probably gonna consider upgrading to a 3rd battery in the future. You know, basically I've had this system running in 0 export mode for the last several months while I've been waiting on permission to operate from my utility. And what I'm seeing, of course, this is one of the best times of year for solar, but those 2 batteries are charged up by like 1 o'clock most days, and that's even with some pretty heavy shade in the morning on my solar array. And then it basically, in 0 export, the solar panels just turn off unless I'm using load in my home where the panels can kick on and support that load or recharge the batteries. Now I did just get permission to operate today, and I flipped it on, and now I'm actually gonna start banking credits. So once the batteries are charged, my system's gonna keep running at full output. It's gonna start sending those electrons out to the grid. My net meter is gonna bank those credits. And then at night, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, when my battery bank dies, I can start using those credits, pulling grid power in. You know, I've got a massive hot water heater. I've got a family. Everything's electric here. And most nights, if we run the dishwasher and 2 of us bathe or shower, basically those batteries are dead by 1 o'clock in the morning. The last regret is just not doing it sooner. I've been in the industry, again, around 14 years now. I've always wanted my own solar and battery system. Early on, I just wasn't in a financial spot to purchase a system like that. I also, most of the homes, we live in the mountains here. It's very hard to find sun. All of my homes have been deeply wooded in the mountains and just have had really poor solar windows. In fact, even here, my solar window is kind of less than ideal. I'm at a north-facing slope from a mountain. I've got some pretty heavy shade from, you know, morning up until about 11 or 12 o'clock, depending on the time of year. So even with the solar window I have, it's really not great, but I just wanted the system. And honestly, after living through Hurricane Helene, where we lost power for a few weeks here, just knowing that I could have pulled the trigger earlier, and we could have been sitting here during that time with our house completely powered, running the Starlink, and living more of a relatively normal situation, I really regretted not doing it sooner. And now that was really the final straw that made me decide to go ahead and pull the trigger on the system again. It was a major investment, but really since I've installed it just in the last several months, we've probably had about 10 power outages, and it sure does feel good when the power goes out to just have that energy independence, be able to sit here and run on solar and batteries. So for all of you viewers out there that have watched my entire series, again, it's like a 6 or 7 part series at this point. What's your feedback? What would you have done different? What could I have done better on the system? Again, if you are a DIYer or looking to do your own system, go ahead, check out our affiliate links down in the description. We got some coupon codes where you can save a little bit of money. You can also go down there, click on our link there to go to rockybroadsolar.com. You can go down there to our website, download a free PDF there, the ultimate DIY guide, and that'll give you step-by-step guidance on installing this system or a similar system with some links and some good information. Again, that thing is still in its infancy. I'm going to be working on building out that guide to be much more lengthy and complex over the coming months and years. But for now, if you're kind of looking for like an EG4 system, something similar to what I installed, it's got some really great tips and tricks in there. Hey, DIY is not for everyone. This takes a lot of skill and a lot of work and time and effort. If you're just looking to hire a professional to install solar and batteries on your home, go ahead down in that description below, click on our Rocky Broad Solar intake form. Just take a few minutes to fill out a few questions about your specific scenario, and I'll get back to you within a few days with a zero cost, pressure-free quote. Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, take care.